Good morning. Welcome to our community meditation. And I'd like to welcome everyone online as well. Thank you for being with us as we connect in consciousness. My name is Clay T. White, and I am your practitioner for today. Please take a moment and silence your cell phones so that we can have an uninterrupted experience. This meditation is a blend of spoken word, silences, accompanied by beautiful music. It will last approximately 15 minutes. So if you will just close your eyes and just go within. Allow all the rush of the day to just fade away. Lower your shoulders, allowing your body to know that it's time to relax. This morning is about practicing the presence. I practice in this way. I identify myself with abundance, health, and happiness. I associate myself with the vast all. I identify myself with all the good necessary to make my life complete. I am filled with peace and confidence. Practice your presence now. When I practice the presence, I know that God is right where I am, that God is what I am. All that God has is mine. I enter into the conscious possession of this divine allness, this universal bounty, this perfect reality. I know that wholeness is manifesting in my life. I acknowledge the living spirit within me. This spirit is God. This spirit is perfect. Spirit is the sustaining principle of my life. I open my mind and my consciousness to this influx. Practicing the presence allows the mind of God to manifest in my life. The spirit within me is projecting itself into all of my experiences. Divine intelligence is acting in my affairs. Everything that I do, say, or think is governed by this intelligence. I practice daily. Every act. Therefore, I know the freedom of God is my freedom. The power of God is my power. The presence of God is right where I am, always. practice moment by moment. Therefore, I know that the mind of God is manifesting in my life. The mind of God is my mind. The strength of God is my strength. The joy of God is my joy. As we slowly come back into the space, realize that there is a divine presence at the center of your being. I let this recognition flow through my entire consciousness. You let this recognition flow through your entire consciousness. God is right where we are, omnipresent. And so it is. So this concludes our meditation for today. Thank you for being in spiritual practice. Our celebration service starts at 10 o'clock.
If thoughts have power, what could we do if everyone thought the same thing? If thoughts have power, what could we do if all of us share the same dream? Each of us believes in something. We all have a choice. If we choose to stand together, to sing out in one voice, then the sound will rumble, the walls will crumble, a brand new kind of dawn, an awakening. It's not a dream. We know we all are one. Let the world sing, joined in harmony. There's a part that is waiting here for you. Let the world sing the song we came to sing. Together, who knows what we can do? In our dream of one world, of one life, can come true. One dream. Each of us believes in something. We all have a choice. So if we choose to stand together, to sing out in one voice, it's becoming clear. Change is near. We have to take a stand. We can work as one. The time has come. The future's in our hands. Let the world see one world, of one life can come true. Let the world sing, join in harmony. There's a song that is waiting here just for you. Join together now. Sing your song. We came to sing it now. Together, who knows what we can do? Anything could come true. Let the world sing.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around me. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fall. Let me learn from all the ways I fall. Oh, let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. That's right. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me share the good that's overflowing. Let me share the good that's overflowing. And let me care for those around the world. Let me care for those around the world. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
darkness tries to roll over my bones, When sorrow comes to steal the joy I own, when brokenness and pain is all I know, I won't be shaken, no, I won't be shaken, 'cause my fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. Shame no longer has a place to hide, and I am not a captive to the lies. I'm not afraid to leave my past behind. Oh, I won't be shaken. No, I won't be shaken. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in
Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. What a beautiful day it is. We're really close to St. Patrick's Day. I forgot to wear green, so thank goodness we don't pinch anymore. It's so great to be back here with you. I hear you had a wonderful time with Reverend Jeff last week. I had a ball in his community in Riverside. Every once in a while, it's kind of fun to shake things up and swap pulpits. That sounds almost not right to swap pulpits. I don't know. But we had a good time there. But it is certainly great to be back here with you again. I've seen a couple of new faces come in today. I want to welcome you to our center. We are an open, loving, inclusive community that sees the presence of the divine in you just the way that you are and know that it is perfect. I also want to say hi to the people that are joining us online here today. So if you would just turn around and wave at the window back there. We have a nice group of people that join us each Sunday online from all over the world. And it's exciting to have them connecting with us in different ways. So we're going to kick it off this morning. We're singing Every Move I Make. Every move I make. The words are going to be on the screen up here. You can stand and join along with us.
I take in you. You walk my way, Spirit. Every breath I take, I breathe in you. Singing na 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 na. Every move I make, I'm making you. You make me move, Spirit. Every breath I breathe, I take in you. Every step I take in you. You walk my way, Spirit. Every breath I take, I breathe in you. Waves of love and waves of grace. Everywhere I look, I see God's face. God's love has transformed me. I know that this love is all of me. Every move I make, I'm making you. You make me move, Spirit. Every breath I breathe, I take in you. Every step I take in you. You walk my way, Spirit. Every breath I breathe, I take in you. Waves of love and waves of grace. Everywhere I look, I see God's face. God's love has transformed me. I know that this love is all of me. Good morning, everybody. Greet your neighbor at this time if you're comfortable doing so.
All right, I'd like to invite up our practitioner of the day, Clay T. White, and to give us our invocation and our affirmation. I hear Clay T. gave you guys a good talking to last Sunday. I like that. Clay T., thank you.
So our affirmation of the day. Together, we're going to read this. So 1, 2, let's read. I choose to trust divine order is always working for, with, and through me. Thank you, Kelly.
Peace is flowing like a river. Peace flows through me. Love, join me now. Love is flowing like a river. Love flows through me.
So this is to prepare us, to set us in the tone of today's service. We talked about practice this morning. Practice all that God is. And we know that God is love, God is peace, abundance, wholeness, beauty, all the good in the universe. And we are one with all that good. As I know this for myself, I know it for each of you. There's no big and little. God sees it all the same. So as Reverend Laura brings the message this morning, practice the present throughout that message. Whether it's the flu or cancer, financial shortfalls, challenges in a relationship, just know that God is closer than your hands and feet. Cling to that faith that we have, no matter what size. Mustard seed, a mountain, makes no difference what size. God is always there. I'm so grateful that God is always there. And so it is.
All right, let's sing. Peace is flowing like a river. Peace flows through me. Love. Love me, love. Sorry. Is flowing like a river. Love flows through me. God breathes me.
Thank you, Clay T. and Justin. It's a beautiful way to start the morning. God breathes me. Just think of that. God breathes me. The presence of that one is moving through us all the time. It is actually breathing us. It's not our lungs that are breathing us. It's God breathing us. That's such a wonderful idea for me. I just love that because it puts God inside of me. It makes God all around me. It makes me know that I am integral in this flow of spirit moving in and out. The word spirit itself comes from spiritus, the Latin for breathe. God is breath. God is life. God is moving through, in and as us. It surrounds us. You just imagine your breath as it comes into your body and it fills every single cell. It moves through you into every single part, all the way down to the toenails and the tips of your hair. It fills every morsel, every aspect of your body. And then you breathe it out, and it goes everywhere. There's no end to this breath. What a lovely visual that is for me to think of this interconnectedness that we have with spirit. This month we're talking about practical mysticism. And when we think of the word mysticism, we often think of it's mystical, like there must be something strange and mysterious about it, that it's not everyday, ordinary kind of thing. But the truth is, it really is how we live each moment of our life. And so when we practice practical mysticism, we are consciously bringing into our experience that connection with spirit. We're consciously remembering that we are that breath, that the breath of God is breathing us, that it surrounds us, that it fills us, that it moves through us. It's as simple as that. And yet it is so much more vast and profound. This week we're talking about practicing the presence. And so this idea of practicing the presence is been around for, well, I can go back at least 6 centuries and find references to it. There's probably more than that, but I don't read Latin and Greek, so, it's not always there for me. But I can go back to some of the saints of the Roman Catholic saints, like Saint Teresa of Avila, who was a Carmelite nun that was so united with spirit that she was able to overcome all kinds of horrific conditions in her life, heal herself from a year-long disease, and then teach this to so many people that she worked with in her convent that she was the mother superior of, that they made her a saint. In fact, not only did they make her a saint, they made her the first female doctor of the Catholic Church because of her profound way of being in conscious communion with spirit all the time. Another one who was just about 50 years after St. Teresa was St. John of the Cross, who, if you may be familiar with the phrase, the dark night of the soul. He wrote a book about his experience in which he had a huge conversion and understood the presence of God so well and practiced it in so much of his life after this experience that he had, that he wrote about in the dark night of the soul. Both of those two influenced another Catholic. He was never a saint. They called him Brother Lawrence. And he was about 100 years later, and Brother Lawrence wrote the first book that was entitled Practicing the Presence, based on the work of St. John of the Cross and St. Teresa of Avila, where he actually gave us practical ways that we can be in conscious communion with Spirit all of the time. Since then, there have been, I found at least 6 books on Amazon that are called Practicing the Presence. One of them is by one of my favorite authors, Joel Goldsmith, and it's an interesting book. The first time I read that book was the very first class I took here at Centers for Spiritual Living. And I'm reading this book. It's 8 chapters long, and I'm reading it, and I am getting irritated. It was way too much Bible. It was way too much of he and him. It was way too much of do it or don't, or do it or you're wrong. If you don't do it this way, you're wrong. There was a lot of that in there. So fast forward 2 years, I read it again for our first year of practitioner training. And at that time I thought, hey, this is a pretty good book. I like this. I had shifted in those 2 years. The book had not changed one bit, but I had shifted. And then about 5 years later, I went into an in-depth study of this book, Practicing the Presence, with a group of 5 women. We took the chapter and we read it for an entire month. Every single day we read a chapter for a month. So it was 8 chapters. It took us 8 months to do that. And we would meet twice a month and we would discuss it. Well, what happens when you begin to read something that much? You start to read things in there that aren't actually printed in the book. You start to see things and get insights that you don't have any clue where they're coming from, but you're like, oh. I also listen to it on Audible a lot. That's how, because I drive a lot. And so I listen to books on Audible. And so I was listening to it, and I would hear something in there that was so profound, and I'm thinking, okay, I've been reading this for 3 weeks. How come I haven't heard this before? I'd pull the car into the parking lot, because I have to be a safe driver. Pull the car into a parking lot, rewind the Audible to hear it, and I couldn't find it. At that moment, I heard something that was so profound and life-changing, and I go back to find it, and it's not there. And that's what happens when you really begin to practice the presence. Spirit begins to work through you in a way that you can't even explain. There's no logical reason for it. There's no rhyme or reason for it. There's no actual written proof of it. But it begins to work through you and begin to have insights and revelations that take you on a different experience of the book altogether. So how does this apply to our science of mind? Ernest has not written a book called Practicing the Presence, although he refers to it a lot. But let's go back to our Declaration of Principles. These were the 12 statements that Ernest Holmes wrote in 1927 to describe what it is we believe. This is statement number 4. This is statement number 3. I got 4. 4 is the next one. We believe the ultimate goal of life is to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that goal is sure to be attained by all. How many of you are experiencing at this moment in our history a complete freedom from all discord? Yeah, I'm not there either. There's a lot going on. And it doesn't matter what side you believe or who you think is right or wrong. There is a lot going on right now. We are seeing things in our world right now that I, at 65 years old almost, I just did my first Medicare consultation yesterday. I am seeing things that I never, ever thought I would see in this country or in this world. I never, ever once. Now, I was raised in a military family. I grew up on Air Force bases. We practiced bomb drills a lot. I never once had the thought that we were going to enter into another world war until the last month. There is a lot going on in our world right now, and it's causing, for many of us, a lot of discord, a lot of discomfort. I was at a memorial service for a friend of my parents about a month ago, and I was talking to a woman that I basically grew up with. I've known her for 50 years, and she's a little younger than I am. And we were talking about the state of things, and she says, oh, it's not going to get that bad. And I'm thinking, every day it seems to be something more, something different. We're hearing things coming out of elected representatives that I never, ever thought. It's gone beyond politics. It's into common decency, has been eroded away. And so we're seeing these things, and I don't know if anybody else, but even someone who does as much spiritual practice as I do, I'm stirred up inside. There's a lot going on. And so for me, it means I need to up my practices. I need to keep myself in that place where I am practicing the presence, where I am in conscious union with Spirit, because I know that all things are possible when we are in conscious union. I have proven it to myself. I have proven that I can eliminate disease in my life. I have proven that I can live an abundant life. I have proven the principles of this teaching that we have here in our lives. And so I know it works. And my task is always to take it and go back and apply it in a deeper way whenever I feel this kind of discord or anything coming up. The fourth principle that Ernest talks about here kind of speaks to that. He says that we believe that heaven is within us and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. Now, heaven is not a place. Let's just be really clear. Heaven is not a place. Heaven is a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. It's a state of being. It's the experience that we have when we're in this human realm. And it's the experience that is available to all of us to the degree that we become conscious of it. And that's where practicing the presence comes in. To the degree that we become conscious of what is possible out there, conscious of our union with Spirit, conscious of the way Spirit is breathing us, conscious of this integral relationship that we have with Spirit. So much of the work that I have done in my 20 years here at Science of Mind has been about what I need to do to make myself ready for this, to make myself more in touch with Spirit. And I think I spoke about this on the first Sunday of the month. Sometimes I forget to think about what it is that Spirit's doing for me. So I sometimes forget that reciprocal nature of the relationship that we have. Because Spirit has its things that it's doing too. Spirit is breathing me. Spirit is breathing me. Spirit is doing so much through me. Am I giving it the space to do that? Or am I thinking I've got to control everything? Anybody else have control issues out there? So Ernest says in the Science of Mind textbook, we must be conscious of God if we wish to experience God. We must be conscious of God. Now, being conscious of God is not an intellectual activity. We can understand God at an intellectual level. We can read thousands of books. We can take every workshop that comes along. We can take every classes. But until we actually begin to have that experience of God, where we actually begin to prove the presence is there, to prove that it exists, to prove that it's working through us, then it's just an intellectual activity. And we know it at a certain level. Ernest says that we are on an ever upward spiral of evolution. And so when we know it at an intellectual level, that's better than we did when we were down here and we weren't aware of it. But when we have that experience of it, we begin to experience it at a higher level on that spiral. And things are clearer when we're higher up, when we can look down and we can see all of the nuances and all of the relationships between things. Then we begin to have a clearer idea of what it is. He goes on to say, the presence of God is within us, and when we recognize it being within us, it flows through us in love, peace, and joy. And that's when we're experiencing heaven. You could use the word heaven and exchange it for any one of those words: love, peace, joy, abundance, prosperity, health, relationships, whatever you want to exchange it with. Whatever it is that you're seeking as your heaven is available to you when we recognize the presence of God is always active within us. So what is possible when we begin this transformational living of practicing the presence? When we truly begin to practice the presence, then everything begins to change in us. Peace begins to replace those anxious feelings. And so when I start to feel that discord that's been happening in the last several weeks for me, as soon as I recognize that I'm experiencing that, it is an opportunity for me to do something to remind myself of the presence of God within me. Now, normally for me, that's meditation. That's me going into the silence and listening deeply about what is happening for me. That also happens through prayer. Prayer is when I discuss things with God. It's a conversation with God. a conversation about myself. It can be a conversation about what's happening in the world. But it's a conversation I'm having with Spirit, in which I remind myself of the true workings and the true nature of God. When I take that moment and remind myself of truth, the discord eases, sometimes only briefly, and I have to do it again, but it eases. Sometimes it'll last a little longer. Depends on the situation, how worked up I am over it. But when I practice the presence, when I go into the silence, when I pray, then I begin to have a different experience of the discord. As I said, St. Teresa is a doctor of the Catholic Church. She's called the doctor of prayer. St. John of the Cross is also one of the doctors of the Catholic Church, and he is called the doctor of silence. Silence and prayer together, meditation, contemplation, mindfulness, whatever phrase you want to call, being quiet and really listening. Too often, our minds are going so much, it's hard for us to hear Spirit. It's always available there. It's always talking. We just have to get still enough and give it the space to speak, to give it the space to show up in our lives. And when we do this, then opportunities begin to open for us that we might not necessarily have thought were possible. We begin to see things, or things just show up out of the blue. And it's like, well, look at that. Answered prayer right there. Didn't know that's what I was looking for, but I sure am glad it showed up. We stop worrying and start trusting more when we are in this opportunities for these presents. We begin to see that relationships heal. I think this could be a really big one for our world right now. Healing relationships. Healing the divide that seems to be so prominent right now. Healing that. I remember a story that Reverend Doug told in one of the first classes I took. It was in the Foundations class. And he's talking about forgiveness. And he's telling the story of this person he knew who had a very difficult father-in-law. This father-in-law was such a problem that she didn't want to be around him at all. Just a cantankerous, not very nice person at all. And so she decided she needed to do forgiveness work. And so she started doing what we call the loving kindness meditation, which is a very systematic way. It actually comes from a Buddhist meditation called the Metta, M-E-T-T-A. And it's about bringing to mind the presence all the time as this place of loving kindness, as this place of peace and generosity. Not only, we start with ourselves, but not only in ourselves, but within the other person, and then with everyone around us. You probably have heard me talk about it before, but it goes, may I be filled with loving kindness, may I be well, may I be peaceful and at ease, and may I be happy. And then you go on to you, thinking of the person that you're in this relationship with, that you're wanting to have a change in the situation. And then the last verse is, may we, being everyone together. Well, she did this systematically for several months. And one day there's a knock at her door. And it's her cantankerous father-in-law. And he's crying. He is so overwhelmed by the awakening that he's had within himself about how his behavior has been. She never said a word to him. She never told him she was doing this. She just did the work herself. And his behavior became aware to him how he was behaving, and he took the steps necessary to change it, healing the relationship that they had. It's possible when we do our own spiritual work to change people around us. We don't do it to change other people. The reason we do forgiveness work is so that the person can pass through our consciousness without us feeling that yuck, without us feeling that turmoil within ourselves. And so when we practice the presence, we can heal relationships without ever having to talk to the other person if we don't want to. When we practice the presence, we grow an inner strength we didn't know we had. We grow a strength that lets us move through challenges in ways that we have never thought possible. For me, this showed up as being able to stand firm in my truth, speak my truth to a narcissistic bully, and be very firm in that and not be having that quivering voice and shaking inside and everything else. Because I was so well centered in myself, I knew what my lines were, and I wasn't going to let them be crossed. Practicing the presence gave me the ability to create boundaries in my life because I know who I am. I know whose I am. And I know what I'm willing to accept and what I'm not. And that's made all the difference in the world. And one other thing that can happen when we practice the presence is we can experience absolute miracles in ways we would have never thought possible. My practice of the presence began, like I said, 20 years ago with that very first reading of the book, although I didn't care for it then. But it started working inside of me. When I was 29 years old, I was diagnosed with systemic lupus erythematosus, which is generally considered to be a fatal disease. But people usually died in their 70s or 80s, so I wasn't worried about it. I was 29, you were invincible at that point. And I started doing work here at the center, just doing my work, doing everything. And eventually got off all the medication for the lupus without really even a lot of effort. And then 3 years ago, I went back to the rheumatologist for my regular checkup, and they said, there's no evidence of lupus. He said, let's repeat the test, because sometimes these tests are wrong. So we repeated the test, and then I went back again. There's no evidence of lupus. Let's do it one more time, just to make sure. So 2 years ago, they removed the lupus diagnosis from my records. Now, it was because I practiced the presence. I didn't say to myself, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm not going to have this experience anymore in my life. I did a lot of shifting with different things. But for me, that was an absolute miracle. Who would have thought you could get rid of a disease like that? Something that, when I was first diagnosed, people were dying famous people were dying from it. And so it was like, oh, this is not good. But anyway, so, miracles can happen when we begin to live in conscious union. Ernest Holmes says that life becomes a divine adventure when we are practicing the presence. Life becomes a divine adventure. So let's go back to Brother Lawrence and his work on the book, Practicing the Presence. Brother Lawrence was a Carmelite a monk in eastern France, and in the 1700s. And so he writes this in his book: the most holy and necessary practice in our spiritual life is practicing the presence of God. That means finding constant pleasure in this divine company. How many times do you actually let yourself be delighted by the wonder of spirit? It can be as simple as getting up early. I like to get up early, and I take my dogs out, and I watch the sunrise. And I am so delighted when there's all kinds of colors in the sky. The glory of spirit as it bursts itself forth as the sunrise. Or rain after it's been dry for 274 days in the valley. And we get that rain that just quenches everything. And you see the weeds start to pop up. Those are good or bad things. But there's a delight in the simplest things of spirit. Do you let yourself be delighted by the company of spirit in your life? He has 5 steps that he says that you need to do to practice the presence. First one is make daily tasks a prayer. So as I was preparing for this week, I read this on last Sunday afternoon. And so I had a lot of housework to do. I thought, all right, I'm going to, I really try hard not to talk about things I haven't done up here. So just so you know. So I thought, okay, let's make these daily tasks a prayer. I have prayed more over folding laundry this week than you can even imagine. The water running over my hands as I'm washing dishes. And I'm delighting in the way that spirit is moving as water. Warm water, cool water, flowing over my hands, soapy water, dirty water, clean water. It's been amazing just to think of Spirit as I'm doing my daily tasks. The second thing he does is talk to God throughout the day. It doesn't have to be formal prayer. And the other thing about talking to God is watch how you're talking to God. Sometimes my talks to God are like, not fit for public consumption. So, because sometimes I'm really riled up, and that's okay. Spirit can take it. I know it can. But sometimes it's like I'm having this wonderful communion with Spirit. I'm having a conversation with God. Now, I spend a lot of time alone, so I can talk out loud. My dogs don't care. They, in fact, kind of enjoy it. But talk with Spirit. As I said, we are in relationship with it. It's not just about everything that we do, but what is Spirit doing for us? One of my favorite things, a prayer from Joel Goldsmith, and I use it all the time when I can't figure out what to pray for. Joel says this. He says, God, search my mind, search my soul, search my consciousness. If you find anything in there that doesn't belong, you take care of it. I'm turning it over to you, and I know you've got it. I don't have to figure it all out, but talk with Spirit. Have a conversation. Be real with it. The more real we are with it, the more real it becomes in us. When you get distracted, return to God. I would also say when you get annoyed, turn to God. When you get irritated, turn to God. When you're having something that you can't figure out for yourself, turn to God. And then the next one, surrender. Surrender. Joel also talks about what to do when you need to forgive somebody, but there's nothing inside of you that wants to do that work. Anybody ever been there? Joel says, God, I know forgiveness is needed here. I know that I need to forgive this person, but I can't do it yet. So I'm going to let you forgive them for me until I can. Now, isn't that powerful? Turn it over to God. Because there's sometimes in our human situation, we haven't got to that place in consciousness yet where we can do the work. But God can. And then finally, rest in God's love. Know that this presence, this divine, creative love intelligence, wants only to experience all of the goodness of life through us. That's why we're here. That's why we were created. For God to experience the world around us uniquely as us. We may think, well, gosh, God wouldn't want to experience life as a 65-year-old overweight woman. But you know what? God's having a ball. I know because I am. We don't have to judge how God is experiencing life through us. We just have to be the vessel that it can do it through. Going back to the surrender. And as I said, he learned a lot from St. Teresa. St. Teresa writes it this way: you will not find peace by seeking it in the world. Seek it in your soul, and you will find God there waiting for you. So as we're experiencing all of this discord, this inharmony in the world right now, seek it in your soul. Turn inward. It's so easy for us to turn outward and to lash out at where we see the problems. Even if it's shouting at the TV, posting something that you wouldn't normally post on Facebook because you're angry. Instead of turning outward, turn inward. And if you can't figure out what to do in there, God can. God can do it for us. So surrender and rest and listen until it becomes clear what your next step is. In my experience, it happens pretty quickly. When I can get silent, when I can become a little more open and receptive, and surrender me trying to fix it, my experience has been that God reveals itself very quickly, and the answer is there. For me, it often feels like it's not even a conscious thought. I just take that next step and do what needs to be done and watch how wonderfully it turns out. Practicing the presence is very easy, but it also requires a bit of us. It requires a willingness to surrender, a willingness to listen, a willingness to be present. But it's such a wonderful experience when we do that, when we rest in that. Let me leave you with one final quote from St. Teresa here. Turning inward to encounter God in the depths of our soul, deepening our prayer life so that we move beyond words into true communion, and carrying this awareness into everyday life. Prayer is not something that prayer is not anything more than an intimate conversation between two friends. Imagine that. Prayer is nothing more than an intimate conversation between two friends. It means taking the time frequently to be alone with the one who created us, who loves us so deeply, who is our true friend in all things. Imagine if our world was living that way. Instead of focusing on the discord, find that internal friendship and allow it to be our guiding light. So let's take this into prayer now, as St. Teresa suggests. I invite our practitioners to stand and surround us. Our practitioners, like me, spend many years in study, clearing away those things that are blocking us from knowing that Spirit is that loving presence. Learning these steps of prayer that we do, we call spiritual mind treatment. Spiritual mind treatment is about practicing the presence. In our first step of the treatment, our prayer, we recognize Spirit. We talk about God, how wonderful it is, how magnificent it is, how all-pervasive it is. And then in the second step of the treatment, we align ourselves with it. We know that if God is all of that, and I am part of God, then I am all of that too. The third step, we know truth. About whatever the situation is that we're speaking about, praying about, we know the spiritual truth. And then we give thanks, and we let it go. All right, if you would, turn within. I do this by closing my eyes and taking a breath, which centers me in my body, bringing me fully present to this now moment. And so right here and right now, I know that there is only one incredible, powerful love intelligence, one creator of all. I know this one exists as all creation. And I know that this one is only ever good. It shows up as love, as peace, as joy, as harmony and wisdom and intelligence, perfect health and divine right order. I know that this one is manifesting itself in, through, and as all creation. And because I know that I am one with it. I know that the power and the presence of this creative love brought me into existence, is living its life through me, that it fills every cell of my being, that it is active in everything that I do. And because I know this is true for me, I know this is true for everyone. For we are all that unique and perfect emanation of a love so powerful, it could do nothing but create more of itself. And so knowing this truth, I speak my word right here and right now. I know that this powerful presence is available to each and every one of us all of the time. And I know that when we take that moment, that opportunity to listen deeply, to go within, to be in meditation or mindfulness or simply stillness, then I know that Spirit speaks to us. It shows up through words and ideas and images and smells and sounds and taste. I know that it moves itself into manifestation through each one of us, just exactly the way we need it, to see it, to hear it, and to allow us to experience it. I know that heaven on earth is created when we align ourselves with this consciousness of oneness, and that the heaven we experience is perfect health and abundance and love and joy and peace. And so I know for our world right now that that divine presence is operating in and through every single person. And I know that as more and more of us become consciously aware of our divine connection, of this intimate relationship we have with Spirit, then there's more places for it to operate and more ways for it to show up, which lessen the discord and the violence and the ideas of lack and limitation that seem to pervade our world right now. I know that this is our holy work, high and holy work for us to do. And I know that we take that presence with us everywhere we go. For every step we take is a step of the divine. And how grateful I am to know it, how grateful I am to feel it operating right here and right now, how grateful am I to see it moving forth into expression in greater and greater ways. And so I release this word into that law. I surrender it. I let it go. I know that God has got this. And I just simply give thanks and let it be. And together we say, and so it is.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Beautiful. Thank you. Brad, you want to come on up? Sure. You need a hand? Oh, that's totally, I got that. All right, so we are in the process of doing our first pledge program in almost a decade. And so Fran is here to tell us a little bit about why she is committed to giving to our center. She's one of our longest term members here at our center. Her husband was longest for a long time. For a long, oh, sorry, she's going to cry now.
Yeah, so
Start her off with the crying.
start with.
Okay, Fran.
No, I started here, not here, at Harmon when I was just a little older than Kaylee and Leo. I know that sounds crazy, but it was 45 years ago. And has transpired. And thank you, by the way. I met my husband here, and we together began tithing very early on. And it was a stretch. We didn't make a whole lot of money then. And as we also tithed a lot of time. I mean, I don't know if you remember the old sanctuary, but who built that stage that was there? And he did a ton of repair stuff and all that, all as a volunteer. He was involved in the music department for quite a number of years. And we both volunteered a lot of our time. We took classes. We, everything wasn't sweetness and light for the last 45 years. But what we learned was how to weather the storms. And I personally have received much, much, much more than I've ever given. So I just want to tell everyone, and I also have decided to increase my tithe by 30%. And I'm very grateful to be able to do that. I'm grateful that I have the wherewithal to be able to do that. And I would never, ever expect anyone to give money that was taking away from their food or their rent or anything like that. But maybe think about it next time you go to Starbucks, that you could, instead of getting one of those fancy $6, $8 drinks, maybe you could throw it in the plate next week. Because we really are operating in a deficit right now. And this place can't sustain that. It just can't. We have a little bit of reserve, but it's not going to last forever. And I would hate to see the doors close, but, there is that reality. And so I'm telling everybody, just kind of dig a little deeper and think about it. Like I said, I don't want people to give money that's going to take away from their well-being. That would be crazy. But I want you to open up to spirit and open up to the prosperity that's in the universe and open up to that God is your supply and that if you give a little bit more, it will come back to you in some way. It might not be in actual dollars, but it will be in friendship and love and those intangible, priceless things. So that's all I have to say.
Brad, let me help you. All right. So we are doing the pledge program. Yeah. One of her joys in life, right? So we are doing this pledge program. As Fran said, maybe look at increasing your tithe a little bit, if you can. If you're a consistent giver already, just think about increasing it a little bit. If you haven't been giving consistently, think about committing to doing that, and do it at the amount that works in your life, in your budget. We're all at different places in our lives, and different things are happening around us, and so looking at where we can increase our flow. That's one of the principles that I've learned better than anything else here, is that if I hold on to stuff, I have stopped that flow from coming into my life. So it's like sometimes I just have to trust and let it go. So we're doing our pledge program here, and then on March 30th, we are having a celebration for everyone who commits to pledging. Whatever your amount is, that doesn't matter. If you commit to pledging either weekly, monthly, quarterly, bi-monthly, biannually, however it works for you in your life with your budget, if you submit a pledge card, you're invited to come to a jazz brunch. Justin has put together a wonderful jazz trio. We have Karen Jones coming back to sing with them. And we are creating charcuterie boards, which is all those meats and cheeses and veggies and crackers and all those good things. Plus, I've been looking at desserts, so, we'll have that too, as a lunch here. So we will have that at 11:30 on the 30th. It's only open to those who submit a pledge card. If you don't want to do a physical card, you can do one online. It's on our website. You can click there, or you can see Kelly in the back, and she'll help you with doing the pledge. But we're very excited to do this, and this is going to help us create a more balanced budget. Right now, our budget, as Fran said, is at a deficit. We'd like to get it closer to not being a negative in our budget there. So we invite you to consider pledging that way. So if you haven't heard enough about money yet, I'm going to now do the offerings. I invite our ushers to come forward. And I invite you to prepare your offering. You can give electronically. We have these 3 different ways here. Zelle, which you can do on your phone. Text to give, also on your phone. Or online on our website, which you can also do on your phone too. Or you can see Kelly in the back, and she'll be able to help you with that. If she's not there, I'll be back there in a bit and to help you. If you're giving cash or check today, would you hold that over your heart? If not, would you just put your hands over your heart? And would you repeat after me? This gift I give
This gift I give
goes forth from me,
goes forth from me,
does amazing and miraculous things,
does amazing and miraculous things,
and returns to me in kind,
and returns to me in kind,
pressed down and overflowing.
pressed down and overflowing.
What are we singing?
Circulation.
Circulation. Oh, we have hand
Yeah,
movements if
hand
you'd like to stand and join us.
Circulation, circulation, like the water raining down to grow the flowers up through the ground. Circulation, circulation, the universe you give into will multiply it and send it back to you. Circulation, circulation, like the water raining down to grow the flowers up through the ground. Circulation, circulation, the universe you give into will multiply it and send it back to you. Circulation, circulation, like the water raining down to grow the flowers up through the ground. Circulation, circulation, the universe you give into will multiply it and send it back to you. Circulation.
Come on, come on. Got to get close to it. Got to get close to it. And so we just give great thanks for everything that's been received here, everything that's been put into consciousness, everything that is yet to come, knowing that we are immensely blessed by the miracles that are happening here today. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you, Charlotte. All right, just a couple of announcements. Today we have our newcomers group. We haven't had anybody sign up online, so I don't know if anybody's going to be here or not, but we'll be here available for that. It's an opportunity to talk about some of the principles and practices and ideas that formulate science of mind and what we do here at Centers for Spiritual Living. Also today we have our women's group at 2:30? 2:30 right here in the sanctuary. Judy has a wonderful group that gets together. On Tuesday we have our Walking the Path group, 10 o'clock in the morning. They do a discussion of the Science of Mind magazine. It's one of the oldest continuously published magazines in the United States, and they have a daily guide. And so the discussion starts with the daily guide and then goes from there. We'll see what happens. All right, we are excited. This Wednesday night is the spring equinox. It's actually 2 a.m. on Thursday morning, but I'm not coming here then. So 6 p.m. on Wednesday evening, we're going to be having a labyrinth walk. This will be a guided meditative experience taking you into seeing what new things are wanting to blossom in your life, because we're talking about spring here. So if you'd like to join us for a guided labyrinth walk, please come here at 6 o'clock on Wednesday night. Usually lasts about an hour, sometimes goes an hour and a half, depends on how many people show up for that. But wonderful experience. If you've never walked a labyrinth before, if you're not sure what a labyrinth is, look beneath your feet, and you'll see the path back there. It's a meditative experience of going inward. We walk the labyrinth into the center, see what's available for us, and then walk it out. It's a meditative experience. Wonderful. We have a class that's starting on this Thursday on Zoom. It's 10 Thursdays. Currently, I don't have anybody enrolled in it, so we're not sure if it's going to go or not, but it is one of the foundational classes to become a practitioner. So if you're at all interested in being a practitioner, I highly encourage you to sign up for the class. As I said, it's going to be on Zoom. I did invite 3 different, us and 2 other churches to participate in it, but somebody told me nobody wants to take classes in the spring. It's too nice out there. I'm like, well, okay. So anyway. And then we have the experiential book study on my new book. This will be a 5-week experience where each week we will take one of the ideas in the book and do that as a group. And then I'm going to invite you to choose another one from that section and work on it on your own for a week, and then come back and talk about how it has shifted things in your life. This is on my mindfulness, and I almost said mindlessness, mindfulness and money magic. So the book is available back here too in our pop-up bookstore. And we are still collecting used books. In fact, it says on the 16th, but if you have some to bring in here, I will be here on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You can bring them to the church. On Saturday, we're putting everything out, so they have to be here by Thursday. But if you still have some books that you'd like to donate, we're happy to receive them. Just let us know, and we'll make sure that we're here. Somebody's here for you to drop them off. Our Rhythm, Sound, and Soul group has moved their meeting from today until the 23rd. So if you're interested in this drumming, chanting, dancing group of people that have a wonderful meditative experience here at night, it's going to be on the 23rd at 5 o'clock. And then finally, Soul Crafters for next month is going to be the process called Soul Collage, where we create guidance cards for ourselves based on intuitively picking pictures and then listening to see what the pictures have to say to us. It's a fabulous practice. It's $15 for that. I do that first Saturday of each month, and this one is for April, so it's April 5th at 10 a.m. All right. And we have a moment of prayer available in our prayer room out there, right across the hall here. You're going to be at the door? Debbie's going to be at the door to let people in. So if you're wanting to get your own personal spiritual mind treatment on anything you have going on in your life right now, even if it's something really good and you want it to continue, go see our practitioners. They'll be happy to pray with you. And if you would, help us stack the chairs. We'll need to make sure they go over to the walls in stacks of 6. Just make sure they don't touch the stained glass or the book sale. Where do you want the chairs there, Justin?
Well, we can put them there.
Okay.
And just kind of
wherever, just so that yeah. We're going to take the book sale down today or this week, but anyway, we need the chairs stacked so that we can do the labyrinth walk on Wednesday. All right, would you stand, please? And if you are comfortable and so moved, hold hands. If you're not, that's perfectly okay. And let's do our closing benediction here. Repeat after me. There is only one life.
There is only one life.
That life is God.
That life is God.
That life is perfect.
That life is perfect.
And that life is my life now.
That life is my life now.
And so it is. Use me.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. All right, last time. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I show me a